I'm shocked.
Tens of thousands of Pennsylvanians had their personal information exposed by contact tracers.
Really disappointed. It should have been more secure.
Who else has access to this information?
Target 11 spent weeks investigating a whistleblower complaint, forcing the state to take action today.
We need to launch an immediate investigation from the state.
And tonight that investigation is now underway. The fallout is just beginning as well. Good evening, everyone. Thanks for being with us. I'm David Johnson.
And I'm Lisa Sylvester. Target 11 is exposing a major data breach with far-reaching implications. More than 70,000 Pennsylvanians had their personal information exposed by Insight Global. The company paid tens of millions of dollars to perform contact tracing in the state.
And Target 11 investigator Rick Earl broke the data breach today after weeks of investigating. He is live in the studio with how did this happen, Rick?
Yeah, David and Lisa, tonight the Pennsylvania Health Department is blaming employees of the company hired to do that contact tracing, saying they disregarded security protocols and created unauthorized documents. But former employees tell Target 11 the company didn't have the proper safeguards in place to begin with. And they alerted us to the unprotected personal health information of thousands of people across the state, including right here in our area. The tracer was able to reach contact. There's your number. Is that your cell?
Yes.
We showed Lisa Chapman of New Kensington. Is that you?
Yep.
And Zari Price of Washington, PA, the spreadsheets and documents containing their personal and health information. Quarantine for 28 days, as it is a household exposure. And the personal information of more than 70,000 people across the state who had contact with a COVID-19 case.
See, we were under the impression that this was the health department, and it was all...
It is the health department.
No one's going to see this but the health department.
What is your reaction as you look at that?
I'm shocked.
I'm very angry that I have, this information is just out there. It's not encrypted. I'm also very disturbed because who else has access to this information?
Insight Global, a staffing company based in Atlanta, received a $23 million contract to hire 1,000 contact tracers in an effort to control the spread of COVID-19. But some former employees tell Target 11 the company failed to secure the information they collected from contacts. And they say they told supervisors, but nothing was done. Target 11 received links to spreadsheets containing personal information collected between last September and March. All we had to do, click on the links, no login or password needed, to view names of contacts and personal health information like this. His wife was positive. She should have been in isolation. It sounds like neither are following protocol. Another, 4 children in the home, in full emotional support and ADHD diagnosis. And this one, she is on psych meds for depression. She says she is suicidal. And some of the entries also contain phone numbers and emails.
I'm looking through it. I can't believe the level of detail in here.
We spoke to State Representative Jason Ortitai of Bridgeville about the compromised data. What is your reaction when you see something like this? This data is out there. All we had to do is click on a link that this whistleblower sent us, and we would have information like this right at our fingertips without it. We had no password, no password protection, no encryption or anything.
Well, I think it's absolutely ridiculous. Just to start, I mean, that's my first thought sitting here thinking, one, how could we let any of this happen? I mean, we're supposed to be good stewards of our constituents' information, especially from the state government level. People entrust us with this stuff.
The Department of Health takes the safety and security of personal information extremely serious.
We also reached out to the state health department and told them what we had discovered.
Appreciate you bringing this to our attention. And as soon as you did, our first priority was to isolate and protect the information that was out there that you alerted us to.
The links containing the personal information have now been shut down, and a forensic investigation is underway.
We have some information from a whistleblower indicating that the company that you contracted with did not take the proper precautions to secure this data, that they didn't have passwords, they didn't have encryption. Have you discovered that?
Well, in fact, it appears that the documents that were shared with WPXI were created entirely outside of the Commonwealth's normal, secure data handling process.
In a statement to Target 11, Insight Global said, quote, "We regret that information collected by our employees during COVID-19 contact tracing may have been made accessible to persons beyond authorized employees and public health officials. Our first priority has been to secure and prevent any further access to or disclosure of information," adding they are now notifying those whose information may have been affected and working to determine what information remains at risk.
My initial evaluation showed that all of the links that you provided were online and accessible to the public without being able to or having to log in. or present any kind of authentication. So they were widely available to the public.
Cybersecurity expert Todd Hollis evaluated the links before they had been shut down.
They are accessible and discoverable by a fairly crafty Google search.
And while the initial contract with Insight Global was for $23 million, according to Treasury records, the state has now paid the company $29 million of your tax dollars since last September.
It's very disturbing that none of this is protected and they got so much money to do this contact tracing too.
We need to launch an immediate investigation from the state, and I think we need to involve the feds in this too. We should call Department of Health in for a hearing immediately, have them explain what's going on. The contractor should be in there, and I want to know what they're doing and what they did wrong.
Now, the fallout has already begun. The state health department just announcing this afternoon that the contract with Insight Global will not be renewed when it ends in July. A toll-free hotline will now be set up beginning tomorrow afternoon for those who suspect they have been impacted by this. You see the number on your screen right there. And while no financial information or Social Security numbers were exposed, credit monitoring and identity protection services will be offered at no charge. David?
So, Rick, it's hard to believe that something like this could happen. Is there any concern that some of this information may still be out there?
Absolutely. Cybersecurity experts tell me it may already be on the dark web. Now, we should learn much more about this on Monday morning when some state lawmakers tell me they plan to hold a news conference in Harrisburg to address all of this.
All right, great work. Important reporting there, Rick. Thank you very much.